Here's the Xrp price chart, and this is why I wanted to show you the Fibonacci retracement is magic. Today's GDP is approximately $80 trillion, and yes, this was the nominal value back in 2017. With more printing than ever before, the stock market reaching all-time high prices during a pandemic, what do you think happens for the future of the global economy, international trade, and everything in between? They say that 10% of this value will be tokenized in the coming years. With a quick control find to GDP, we can see it's mentioned a few times here. Look at this, the tipping point, 10% of global gross domestic product, GDP, stored on blockchain tech. What's going on, guys? Kevin Cage here with another cryptocurrency update. We have a really interesting one for you today. We're going to be diving into the price charts of XRP, Bitcoin, and a variety of alts. But first, let's dive into some info. The Fear and Greed Index is at 27. And look at last month, we were at 76. Now, before going over this, I wanted to share a quote from Mark Yusko for all of you investors out there. The greatest wealth is created by being an early investor in innovation. Making that investment requires believing in something before the majority of people understand it. You will be mocked, ridiculed, and criticized for your non-consensus action. It is absolutely worth it. And speaking of that, we have a clip of Mark Yusko right here. And for those of you that do not know this gentleman, he is the founder, CEO, and CIO of Morgan Creek Capital Management. In 1996, people said the internet will never be more important than the fax machine. He goes on to say in this video that the internet may have been even more important than the printing press. That is a very, very bold claim. But the thing is, the internet made connectivity and communication ubiquitous. So I'm actually on his side with this. And he believes cryptocurrency, the digital asset space that we are seeing, NFTs, where we have every celebrity. I just saw Shakira putting out a new NFT, a non-fungible token. This is happening, with or without us, with or without my silly opinion. And I'm happy that I am part of this journey with you guys. And he believes that cryptocurrency will have even more impact than the internet. Very interesting. I encourage you guys to check this one out by Blockworks_. And this is an amazing video of Navin Gupta of Ripple discussing, and this is shared by Leonidas, XRP Arcade. Guys, if you have a YouTube account, please subscribe to this gentleman. He's created xrparcade.com and phenomenal research for everybody. Now, Navin Gupta discussing the benefits of blockchain and why this is essentially flipping the whole investing model and even governance model on its head. From now on, decisions will eventually, or the idea is that decisions will go from the community first all the way up instead of from the head honcho boss at the top. So instead of top down, this becomes a bottom up type of ecosystem. And just like we discussed in that interview with iTrustCapital yesterday, if you guys caught that, announcing the Spark airdrop and all the exciting assets on the way, such as VeChain and cough, and potentially XTC in the future. He explains the benefits of the cryptocurrency market that the stock market still doesn't have, such as 24/7, 365 trading. Cryptocurrency never sleeps. In a few years' time, we're going to look back at the markets like the stock market that do not operate 24/7 and ask, how silly was that? Yet, in the moment, we think it's normal because we accept it. It's just consensus. Reality is nothing but consensus, and we can change the very reality by changing our social constructs. And so Navin Gupta now discusses the 3 biggest use cases right now for crypto assets, and as the infrastructure gets better, more and more use cases that we've never even thought of are going to come to life. For now, yes, it's typically on finance around money, but in reality, it's going to get so much bigger than that. It'll be related to smart cities and big data, just like HBAR and DAG and anything in between. But for now, he says the 3 biggest use cases today that some are already in live production, cough, on-demand liquidity for XRP is remittances, sending money across countries, specifically maybe to your family, low value, high volume payments. The second would be DeFi, decentralized finance. And of course, with this comes all kinds of peer-to-peer lending, 24/7 financing, and markets, and a plethora of other benefits. And then the third is NFTs. And I just saw Shakira drop that NFT, as I just said. And I promise that celebrities, musicians, athletes are all paying attention to what NFTs are. I promise. Keep in mind, we're going to be reviewing the Xrp price chart and the Bitcoin price chart at the end of this video. If you walk away today with anything, I urge you to pay attention to the statistics and projections of tokenized assets. Today's GDP is approximately $80 trillion. And yes, this was the nominal value back in 2017. With more printing than ever before, the stock market reaching all-time high prices during a pandemic, what do you think happens for the future of the global economy, international trade, and everything in between? They say that 10% of this value will be tokenized in the coming years. That's $8 trillion. Today, the cryptocurrency market cap has surpassed $2 trillion. Today, we are a little bit below that. It doesn't matter. Long term, this market will continue to grow and thrive. People are looking at the Bitcoin price chart on the 4-hour and they're sweating. Anybody looking at the performance for the last 10 years is beyond confident. Anyways, back to Ripple Insights by Ashish Burla, GM of RippleNet, and this was dated back in July. We can see it's estimated that at least 46 million Americans own crypto today. Many other countries are adopting this tech at higher rates. Shocker. Square, Robinhood, Visa, MasterCard, PayPal. Even when XRP began, remember that yes, maybe there was a few $1 million in trade volume per year. Now we're actually rivaling the NASDAQ, guys. Notice, right here, comparing the exchange volume, there were only a few exchanges at the time doing a few $1 million a year in volume compared to traditional exchanges like NASDAQ, with about $5 billion in volume per day. But nobody notices that. Nobody goes to NASDAQ and realizes that there's actually an XRPL index, there's an Ethereum index, a Bitcoin index. Nobody paid attention that right after the catastrophic 2020 crash that NASDAQ coincidentally partners with R3 for digital assets. Nobody's looking at standard custody. Nobody knows what PolySign is. We are early. The good news, we are so early. The bad news, we're early. Fast forward to today, most of the top 10 digital assets are already rivaling that of the NASDAQ. And now this, the World Economic Forum, the WEF, and we also have this document available right here, the Deep Shift, Technology Tipping Points, and Societal Impacts. This is dated back in 2015, and this has been spot on. Now notice, which tokens are heavily related to the World Economic Forum? XLM, XRP, we have Algorand with some incredibly deep ties into some big players as well, such as that think tank with, $30 to $40 trillion right there. But this is the WEF. This is not me. This is not Ripple saying this. They project 10% of the world's GDP will be tokenized by 2027. Survey report, September 2015. Now, with a quick control find to GDP, we can see it's mentioned a few times here. Look at this, the tipping point, 10% of global gross domestic product, GDP, stored on blockchain tech. And if you guys have not seen the TVL across the board for the crypto market, TVL is total value locked. That's right, that number has increased exponentially. I know there's people thinking the market goes to zero, just like there is every single crash. I yawn at that, and I'm so used to it at this point, just like you guys. They're looking on the 4-hour chart and they're sweating. Whereas I've been watching the projections of total value locked and watching that literally 10x. Currently, the total worth of Bitcoin in the blockchain is around $20 billion, or only 0.025% of global GDP, around that $80 trillion value. This is exactly why HBAR, DAG, Algorand, there's going to be so many assets out there that are tackling this issue. And yes, I still continue to bet heavily that XRP will be triumphant in the international cross-border payment space. And yes, I'm basing this off of some of the smartest people in the world of finance, especially the CEO, Dan Moorhead of Pantera Capital, saying XRP will be a top 10 digital asset even 10 years from now. So 10 years from now, if the cryptocurrency market cap is at 10 trillion, which it'll be past that, 20 trillion, 50 trillion, 100 trillion, who knows, especially when you consider the derivatives market, which could make this number much higher, what do you think assets market cap will be in the top 10? Let alone their value. There are over 3 million XRP addresses or 3 million wallets that have been created. We haven't even dented the population yet. This is the most bullish signal that Ripple is going to court with the SEC and has been fighting for almost a year at this point. Does this suck to wait? Yes, but you guys know my thoughts. If you guys haven't seen this, I just shared this. PayPal has announced the release of a new app built to be a one-stop shop for all of the digital payment needs that has interoperability with digital assets. Shocker, I know Venmo, Cash App, and every other little fintech app out there is competing for some of this slice of the digital asset space. We have Blockchain Boy recognizing DAG yet again, not surprised. We have more and more big names paying attention to this ecosystem. Well, what makes DAG so special? Well, besides the plethora of projects on the way, right here, Constellation Network expands GeoJam's groundbreaking social music experience with crypto, shared by Yahoo Finance. Definitely check these projects out. I'm excited, and what I want to emphasize is this. You're used to Bitcoin and Ethereum, layer 1 protocols, but have you ever thought of L0 protocols, layer 0, also known as HGTP, the Hypergraph Transfer Protocol? This is Constellation's network. I'm excited for DAG. I'm excited for HBAR, just like it's essentially feeless or, micro pennies for every transaction. DAG is essentially free and can scale infinitely. The bigger the network gets, the faster it can scale. So imagine owning a bunch of Ethereum back in the day, 2016, 2015, before they really onboarded even the first 50 projects. That is what DAG is like to me. Not financial advice, but I have high hopes for this entire ecosystem, including ADS token of Alchemy Exchange, and of course, LTX Lattice token. And of course, Ethereum has climbed from several dollars to $3,000 plus, has hundreds of thousands of projects built upon it. However, it's getting bottlenecked with those gas fees. Nobody wants to pay $100 to send a single transaction. You think that's scalable for the future of finance? Let alone the big data needs and smart city needs that maybe HBAR and DAG of Constellation are going after? Not at all. You need a technology that is extremely efficient, if not free entirely. That's exactly why XRP is tackling payments, because it's literally micro pennies for a transaction. And just imagine ETH's ecosystem going after big data, maybe IoT, anything else in DeFi, and imagine what a network can do with great adoption. And now you wonder why the Department of Defense chose Constellation before every single project in the cryptocurrency space. Friendly reminder for anybody that is panicking, if you only believe in an investment when prices are going up, you're definitely not going to make it. This market is not for everybody. It is tough. And if you're brand new and you saw all these people on Twitter bragging about the gains they made or being up this much or maybe getting into an asset really early, it's because we earned it. Anybody celebrating, I'm happy for them. They earned it because this market will drive a normal person mad. Here's a quick example of just a few of my bags this year. OGN crashed 61% before doing a 1400% pump right here, Origin Protocol. And I literally had friends panic sell down here or maybe around here. And I told them I'm holding, I'm waiting because it was not listed on Coinbase yet. There was a bunch of fundamentals and of course they were releasing a bunch of things per the roadmap. And what did it do? When I held through this storm, it finally pumped over 1000%. Well, what happened with DAG? The same thing. And I have friends, a really good friend that panic sold DAG. I'm not sure if he panic sold at 5 cents or 10 cents. It crashed to 75% and then continues to do 1,600% increase. And then the Q&T, don't even get me started. Come on, since $5 days, it's at $300 plus or maybe $200 today. Buying it with an Ethereum pair on like IDEX or Bittrex back in the day. And yes, that surpassed well over $300. And so just remember, you cannot be successful long-term with a short-term perspective. If you can only envision the next few days or few weeks, you might not make it in this market. It is tough, but is it rewarding? Absolutely, for those that endure. FYI, I'm not sure if you guys will be happy about this, but we have Coinbase signs a deal with Homeland Security to provide analytics software. Interesting. So much for our privacy. And also sharing what XRP Crypto Wolf has shared, opening accounts on the XRP Ledger is now 2 times cheaper. A proposal to lower the XRP Ledger's minimum reserve requirements from 20 now to 10 has successfully passed after several weeks of voting. And I believe that David Schwartz, CTO of Ripple, also requested this. Here's an example of a layer 0 protocol versus today's Ethereum on MetaMask, $45 fee versus DAG on the Stargazer wallet, which is available right on their website. It is also a Chrome extension, but if you have a wallet for DAG, I only recommend going to the official website and getting that link. But notice, completely free. Retailers, they get angry, they lash out when prices go down and are happy when prices go up, rather than the smart investor who has long-term faith in this market. They get excited when prices go down and they get nervous when prices go up. And yes, Flare Networks is ever closer to getting launched. And guess what happens to those Flare tokens, those Spark tokens that were not claimed? They're all burned, which means that there's going to be less supply, which is good for us holders. The people that persevere through bear markets and always just keep learning and focusing and researching on the tech, maybe learning to invest, learning trading strategies, or just learning about the technology itself, they're always the ones that win in the bull market. Every single person, although there may be exceptions with somebody that just gambled on a meme coin and made a bunch of money, the people that have long-term success also have longer-term perspective within this market. And right here, we have a quote by Robert Kiyosaki, and I think this applies to investing in the digital asset space just as much as it applied to the dot-com bubble. And this is in Spanish, so I'll translate. People don't have the patience to build a business for 3 years or even 5 years. Imagine, people don't have the patience to invest in trade and learn about the tech for 3 to 5 years. Instead, they have the patience to go to work every single day, 5 days a week for 40 years, if not more. Interesting. We also have another Ripple partner expanding. This is Air Wallets, and they had a really high value. I know we discussed them in the past, but they're expanding yet again throughout Southeast Asia, just like Ripple, first in Malaysia and then in Singapore. And this is pretty interesting. By CoinDesk, Hedera Hashgraph HBAR recently received validation from the University College London, UCL, for having the lowest energy consumption compared to Algorand, Cardano, Ethereum 2.0, Polkadot, and even Tezos. Very cool, and not surprised whatsoever. Refer back to me discussing directed acyclic graph technology like HBAR and DAG. It's just more efficient. Now, yes, blockchain is awesome, but the best technology in the future of DLT is going to incorporate some aspects of blockchain but also directed acyclic graph technology. It's just way more scalable. It's smarter, it's faster, it's cheaper. And just like the founder of HBAR says, it's essentially the most complicated, complex math in the world. And just like all the people said, and it's crickets now, people say that XRP will never pump again, which is laughable. And just like this, they said the same thing for Algo and HBAR. They said they would not pump because of their tokenomics, their distribution schedule was bad. Yeah, I'm sure. They said that the token distribution schedule was bad because they're trying to build an ecosystem for the long term. So these short-term players that are here to make a quick buck often get angry and, essentially attack these projects that I love. Once again, that did not stop them. The behemoths behind these ecosystems, it's in their best interest to ensure a valuable network for the long term. So I'm a long-term believer in utility, and we have not even seen true utility, let alone at scale. Yes, there's speculation right now, widely across the market. Any price is possible, crashing and going up. But my belief is that utility in the years ahead is going to bring a reduced amount of volatility, higher amounts of volume, in a very strong ecosystem. Now, my favorite part, we're going to finish up covering the Bitcoin price chart, the XRP price chart, and a few other digital assets. So first things first, the Bitcoin price chart looks like we're in free fall currently. Now, going back to the market, yes, we are over $2 trillion for quite some time ranging, and now we're coming back down, rejecting those Fibonacci retracements. Most assets in this market are coming right down there with Bitcoin. We can see a variety of assets down, with the exception of AVAX, which is currently up 13% on the 7-day. Taking back to the Bitcoin price chart, I know patrons, we covered this Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon with the Fibonacci retracement. And remember, when in doubt, zoom out. We can see that we've had a beautiful, beautiful bull run. Me personally, I believe that many alts that I'm buying down here at these lower levels below the 236 have a chance to break out and still have a massive bullish continuation by end of year. And that is how I'm personally playing this market right now, not financial advice. So please decide for yourselves, guys, and always do your own research. This is solely my opinion from the charts. As we look at Bitcoin on the daily price chart, we can turn on the fibs. We do know that Bitcoin had an all-time high at about 65K. From that point, we crashed 50% plus to approximately $29,000. From this point, we went through these retracement levels and started climbing and did pump overall 80% plus. Where are we today? Well, the Bitcoin market and the entire crypto market is pulling back, and right now we are currently down about 25% from that recent high. I know we discussed the potential when we were still up here around the 50% retracement of coming down to the 382, if not the 236. Well, it looks like we have broken the 382 Fibonacci retracement, and the 236 Fibonacci retracement is about $37,000. Does this pull down the altcoin market? Yes, absolutely, and sometimes this is necessary to get that next breath. Now, if you're bearish, you can be looking at those next targets of maybe that 25K region or even 20K. I could be wrong, but I am bullish on a lot of other alts, especially the alts that I have personally studied their roadmaps and dug through their white papers. Now we're going to compare a few assets. We'll look at some other assets and performers in this market and compare them to XRP. So first things first, we have Bitcoin sitting at the 382, now below, maybe en route to the 236 Fibonacci retracement. And we have assets like Solana that we've been tracking, including DAG and QNT, which were leading the way for Solana. And we have swing high, swing low, coming up to the 4.236 and now collapsing. Where's it at? On the 2618 extension. So we have assets that have broken through these levels, reached these gold extensions, and I have not seen a lot of my alts that are literally down here at the 236. And what did Solana do? It blasted through the 236 and finally went. Let's look at a few other assets. Here's the XRP price chart, and this is why I wanted to show you the Fibonacci retracement is magic. From the recent all-time high to the low, double bottom, what did we do? Hit the 618 like pinball, and where did we backtest to? The 236 Fibonacci retracement. You can't make this up. The question is, are we going to hold this region? And I know I said, oh no, on Twitter, which is next for XRP. This is a few days ago because I knew there was a big move for the market. I just didn't know if it was up or down. I had no idea. And as we can see, what is next for XRP? 80 cents or $1.40. This is when XRP was dead center at $1.10. And this is on the 18th. So this was literally 3 days ago. I didn't sell my XRP. I'm just holding and dollar cost averaging. But just wanted to show you the magic of the Fibonacci, playing a game of pinball, even hitting the 50% right there and then coming back down, back testing, boom, and collapsing. Pretty crazy. Let's see what other assets have done and decide if you're bullish or bearish. Now, one asset that I'm quite bullish on for the long term as well, and is a basic asset that everybody knows, is XLM. Let's look at Stellar and see how it is actually measuring up with this Fibonacci retracement from the high to the low with the double bottom. Wow, this sucker is well below the 236. Now, I have long-term faith in this market. If you don't, don't do what I do. This is not financial advice. Do not copy my trades. This is not financial advice. But me personally, I really like the look of this asset, specifically because we have assets like Sol that are up here. And let me show you a few other assets that have made it up to these levels, such as Algo, HBAR, QNT, DAG, Solana, Luna, Atom, Ultra. I have literally a dozen plus. Notice that Ultra made it up to this gold extension of the 127. Notice AVAX, another asset, Avalanche, did the same thing, double bottom down here, and what did it do? Reach the 1.27. Why am I focusing on XLM and XRP, some well-known assets that are below these targets? Because they have yet to perform in the cycle, and historically, and I'm talking several bull runs at this point, they always go last. Now, is it weeks from now? Is it months from now? I wish I knew. I don't have a crystal ball, but this is how I'm playing it. How's our buddy Algorand doing? So, of course, we could measure the fib from this high. We've made it to the 1618. We can measure from this high, almost to the 1618. You can measure from this high before capitulation. Either way, you've reached these golden extensions. The same thing goes for XRP and XLM. Higher targets long term. LTX is another asset part of the DAG or Constellation ecosystem. Where did it go? Right to the 2 to perfection, like a game of pinball, hitting the 1618, coming back down, shooting, boom. And I know you guys that like Kava, I know my price prediction at the beginning of this year, like literally the very beginning of this year when it was $1.30 was $10, and look how we're measuring up. I didn't hit it, but it's pretty interesting. So notice, high to low, we almost made it to those extensions at $9.15. I called $10 when we are at $1.30. So, not bad. Do I think Kava has the chance to get up to those higher levels in the future? Absolutely. It's one of the DeFi monsters. I don't care about price. I don't care if it's 10 cents or $5. I care about an ROI. How's our buddy HBAR doing from that high? Well, we did in fact reach these gold extensions and created a new all-time high price, and that's what I'm looking for now. Currently, falling back down, we back-tested the 50% retracement. Look at that wick. Pretty scary, but for me, I have long-term faith in HBAR. I'm not worried. And let's see, watch this. So we're going to take XLM now. Instead of using that high, let's use the other high before it actually capitulated. Where did it backtest to? Where did it backtest to, guys? The 236 Fibonacci retracement. So I know some assets are down here, but for me, unless they break this previous level, I'm staying confident. If we break this level for XRP, XLM, Zcash, EOS, ETC, Ontology, then I get nervous. And then I'm like, oh man, I wish I had more money to buy in dollar cost average. For now, I have long-term faith in this market. I buy around these regions. I begin staggering my sells here, here, and up here. If you guys know some of the setups I do a swing low to swing high for the Fibonacci to actually gauge a good buy. And as we're looking right here, I am bullish. If you're bearish, do not follow this whatsoever. But notice, A, B, and now we're coming back down to this region where we at, the 702. Could we go lower to the 786 before getting point D and then making our way up to 50 cents plus? Very possible, and that's kind of what I'm looking at. And of course, this period took a little while, took a few weeks. This period took a few weeks. Now it's coming down. It was almost a double bottom because we have a wick on the 702. Now we're going below it. I believe that we're going to hold around these levels and not go too much lower. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. And this is just sharing my personal thoughts on this market. But then I expect, as we do A, B, C, because this is a fake B, C, and then we make our way up to these levels. XLM and XRP are one of the assets that is yet to break their previous all-time high prices, whereas other assets have made it to the full 4.236 Fibonacci extension. And I encourage you guys to check out my Instagram for proof of that. And so now what we care about and what most people are here for is XRP. Let's draw a fib right here, swing low to the high, and let's just see how low we've gone in terms of retracement levels. And then let's look at those targets. A, B, and where are we at? Look at that wick, guys. I did not even record this. I didn't practice this. I didn't check this before this video. I'm doing this in real time. A, B, C to the 618. Now, could we come all the way down to these levels? It's entirely possible. I've seen wicks where they come below and then they still fulfill those gold extensions and get that A, B, C, D. And however, looking back, this is still one of the assets that is yet to break its all-time high price, and other assets from there are reaching a full 4.236 all the way up to these levels. So whether you think $5, $15, your guess is as good as mine, but I am bullish on XRP and a variety of digital assets in this market. Because the last time I checked, I just showed you a few assets, especially in the previous videos on this channel, of all those assets reaching all-time high prices. So decide for yourselves, and I'm just simply sharing what I'm doing. Last but not least, let's see Bitcoin as well with this retracement. So from this low, I could use this wick, but I'd like to go right before it began to A, right there, B, and then drag it over. And where are we? Well, we've made it to the 50% retracement. The 618 would be that 38,000, close to that original 236 that I showed you. I'm specifically watching the alts. I know that we caught that beautiful 80% ride with API 3, doing the same thing on the 4-hour chart. I don't like doing this on the weekly because it takes forever, but just wanted to show you a few looks. So now I'm just waiting and seeing where we're going to start bottoming out, if we bottom out. And as we're bottoming out, I'll essentially be drawing new retracements, monitoring those retracement levels, and trying to decide where the best entries and exits would be. But alright guys, just overall, A, B, C, we're at the 618. Do we come to 78 cents or 70 cents before coming to these higher levels? Let me know. All we can do is wait. And remember, anybody that's having a hard day, guys, Overall, this market has performed exceptionally since March 2020. This is still an ascending channel. Is it ugly? Absolutely. But I still love this recovery. We're seeing signs of life, and I'm sure we remember how difficult it was when Cardano was 3 to 5 pennies, when QNT was $3, when XRP was 11 cents. The way that I see this market is it is either offering me discounts, lower levels to buy, or profits where I can absolutely sell for a nice profit and look for that next move. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like and sub. Links are in the video description, and until next time.